Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with layout 5 for the Dog Mini album, and this is another photo of Kevin. I love this picture. It just looks like he's smiling, which is awesome. Um, he just looks so adorable. So this one I'm back to having a pinkish background, which means I am looking for green and black scraps. I did, as I was flipping through, see this white marble paper, which I just love, and I'm pretty sure I have a 12 by 12 somewhere in this album with that marble print, so I do want to use it at some point as a mat, just so that pattern is somewhere else in the book. So I'm going to pull that too in case I can use it on this page, but I definitely like the green and white diamond print. That diamond print is flowing throughout this book. So I love that as my green, and then I have this kind of striped watercolory black paper as my black element. I actually don't have any gold on this page. I've been trying really hard to get pops of gold on each layout just as a cohesive element. But all the papers that had gold foiling I really didn't like with the papers I'd already selected. So I'm foregoing the gold on this one. If I'm really determined to have gold on every layout, I'm going to pull it in final touches, either with color shine or stickers or something like that. So I'm not too worried about it. It's always something I can go back and add a glimmer of gold somehow. But for right now, I'm going to focus on layers and just getting the base of this layout done. As you know, this month I'm trying to get these layouts kind of most of the way done, and then I want to finish all of the layouts together so they all look very cohesive by the end. Again, this diamond pattern is becoming very frustrating as much as I like it because I'm really wanting these diamonds to run in the same direction throughout the whole book. And so far, these diamonds are all vertical everywhere. And the way I was trying to use this paper, they were horizontal. So I'm actually going to use this piece to trim my notebook edge punch for the side. That's another thing I've been incorporating throughout this month on all the layouts. And then instead of using that to mat around the photo, I'm going to use this other scrap where the diamonds are oriented in the correct direction going vertically. So I just had to switch that up a little bit, but I think I'm much happier in the long run not seeing the sideways diamonds throwing everything off. So I'm just going to get this portion stuck down here. And I'm trying to remember to ink everything as I go. I don't think I've forgotten anything yet, knock on wood. I love that subtleness of having inked edges. So, and I love this green on the pink. I think that's a fun color to have, is that detail. While I'm inking, I'm just going to go ahead and go around this layout, and then I need to start playing with my layers. I really was determined on this one. I was wanting to do like another bannery thing, but I've done banners on a couple of the other pages, so I think I'm going to go and try to do something similar to the layers around the first Kevin layout I did, but make it different. But what I mean is I like these kind of partial layers where there's a couple different patterns that are going partially around the photo, like the green is now, so I'm thinking I might do something like that. At this point, I'm realizing I don't have any gold, and I'm trying to decide if I want to go through getting some on here. So similar to the first page, I'm cutting out some of these gold foiled medallions, which could have worked, and I think I would have actually liked that because it would have tied back to that first layout that I did. I do want to incorporate these somewhere else in the book, so it's not just the first layout that has those gold medallions. But the more I kind of worked on this page, the more I didn't want to go in that direction. I decided to forego the gold altogether, but I'll leave those out just for a minute to see if I change my mind. But I did pull in this white marble as the other partial layout or layer, and I really like the way the gold and the marble look together, with maybe having that black as the final layer just to have some contrast between these layers in the background. I think this so far is my favorite orientation. I do like the green closest to the photo, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that portion of the mat, and then I will do the white marble. The white is kind of bleeding into the pink background, but once I do the black ink around all of these layers, it really helps all the layers stand apart. So I don't have that issue as much once it's inked, but that is something I clocked right away. I didn't want that white layer to get lost. But you'll see once I trim it up and ink it, it's a lot better. So getting this part inked. I'm not quite sure how I want this black layer. I know I want it to be a little longer, but I kind of go back and forth on how I want to do that. There is another hole punch here where that, branding strip area is, so I'm just making sure I cover that up with the other layers. And then I'm going to trim the black to kind of the proportion that I want. And I'll go ahead and ink that. But this is where I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, this is looking way too similar to the other Kevin layout. Like the layers are just too similar to the other page. This one, I want this page to have something a little different. I want all these pages to have some element that makes it, special from all the other ones. So it's not an identical layout as you're flipping through the book. So this is where I decide, hey, maybe I'll pull that scrap I trimmed off back in and I'll have a couple pieces kind of extending the black layer across the page. And I actually really like that. I think that looks really cool. So I'm going to go through and ink these scraps and end up including those, which is great. So I think that was enough. And I almost stopped this layout here. In fact, I did, thinking, okay, we're close enough. I just need finishing touches now. But the big open area of this pink was just bothering me. And I did not use the film strip on the last page. So I'm pulling another one of Ronnie's film strip die cuts in black to fill in that area. And I love that. I think it needed a pop of black just to coordinate with the rest of the pages in the book, and then to keep that icon of the film strips running throughout the book as well. So I'm going to go ahead and back it in vellum, and I'm just going to have it running the whole length of the layout in that open area. So I was glad I went back and did that. This page is probably the most full out of the ones I've done so far, so I don't know how I'm going to do finishing touches on this one, but when I get to that point, I'm sure I will figure something out. I kind of have like Tim Holtz word stickers and Nuvo drops and splatter and like gold heart stickers all set aside for when I get to the finishing touch, so I'm sure one of those kind of little details will be perfect. But now I'm just trying to make sure my wet glue doesn't leak and get super messy as I'm gluing down my vellum. So cleaning that up and trying to space it out. I realized I want one more area at the top to be backed in vellum. I wasn't sure if I was going to use that quadrant or not, but I am. So I'm going to get this final piece glued on, and then I will secure this. But I think this one's fun. I love this picture of Kevin. He just looks so happy. He looks, when you look at all the pictures of the dogs when I did the photo shoot, I think I loved Kevin's pictures the best, just because he looks so happy. He just looks like he's posing and smiling, but he was the worst one out of all of them to get good pictures on because he was so distracted and wasn't wanting to sit still or look at me. So it's a miracle he got so many good pictures out of the photo shoot. But I just love this one. Now that my vellum is backing the film strip, I'm just figuring out the spacing that I want. This works out really well because the edges of the film strip, which are my favorite part, I will have left over. So I'll have these bits to kind of peek in and out of other layouts if I just want a touch of a film strip, which is nice. But that's it for now. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.